What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're taking on Heavenly Demon number 2, which is definitely a piece of content that I don't really play that often, but, you know, look, this new Luffy is really fun, and I really wanted to just see what he was capable of doing, and, dude, people need to realize, right, that if you can somehow build him correctly, and you can get that 7 times captain, dude, the damage is actually insane, bro. It's so crazy. Like, the thing is we're getting used to now this point in time in Treasure Cruise where, you know, a character comes out 6 times captain effect. You know, if you have 2 times captains at 6x, that's a 36 times bonus. Of course, you got ships and all these other things that are counted into it, but just purely looking at captain multipliers, right? Going from, you know, a 6 times bonus, or even if we scale it all the way back, right? Let's say back in the early days, right? Going from a 3 times captain, like a 3 times 3 being a 9 times captain, you know, combining just the captain effects, just purely looking at that. And then we go up to a 4x, going from 4 times 4 to 16. And then we go to a 5x, 5 times 5 is 25. And then we go to a 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. And you can see where we're going with a 7 times 7, 49 times. Like, the scale is such a huge jump. If even just going from what we've been experiencing recently from the 6 times captains, bumping that up to 7 is a huge damage increase. And I do feel like people need to understand this is quite insane. So we're using Luffy today, of course, as you can see. And as for the characters, like, I really wanted to try and get, like, the full Straw Hat squad going, because you running double Luffy, honestly, it doesn't feel very optimal, because, like, there's not much reduced redundancy with Luffy's kit. You know, if you have 2 Luffys activating during the same turn, you can get the conditional boost and then the infliction of increased damage taken. Well, it actually happens vice versa. Increased damage taken happens first, and then the secondary activation gives you the conditional boost, unless if you somehow apply end of turn healing or have a different increased damage taken on the enemy side of the field. It's a little clunky, I'm not gonna lie, but even if you don't get the conditional boost, still providing a 3 times increased damage taken on the opponent, and then you've got an EX super to grant you the weakness buff as well. Like, it's kind of cracked, bro. We do use the EX super on the Virgo stage specifically, because once we move on from this point is where paralysis starts to occur. When you use Luffy's EX super, it grants you super type to strength, super class free spirit, super class fighter. So it gives you 3 super buffs immediately, which will automatically triggers Luffy's captain ability to make him transform into Snake Man. When you become the Snake Man form is when the 10 turns of paralysis actually will start triggering in his captain ability. And that's the component that is kind of annoying. Like, I wish the paralysis removal was just always in the captain effect from the base form, and then the gear upgrades should give you like damage bumps, defense, you know, damage reduction, healing effects. I really don't like the fact that there's a key utility piece there that you have to trigger his EX super in order to get. It just feels really annoying. One thing that we did do, though, is we're using Zoro and Sanji. And Zoro and Sanji, when you use their super switch to become the dual unit, you'll get access to the EX super. Their EX super will give super class Slasher, which means it will have 4 super effects activated, so we will transform into Gear 5. And in Gear 5 state is when you can reach those high damage potential numbers. So I think at the moment it's like a 5.25 times captain with Luffy, and then at the moment in his Snake Man form, it is like a 1.05 times damage boost if you have a super effect activated on a character, and then once we transform into Gear 5, that 1.05 actually becomes a 1.1 bonus for every super effect on a unit. So Luffy has super type and 2 super classes, so Luffy currently is a 7 times captain to himself. So any character that has a super effect on them gets a 1.1 times damage increase. So on this team, Zoro and Sanji get 2 effect boosts, Luffy gets all of the effect boosts, Vivi and Rebecca only get 1, the Chopper only gets 1, Nami doesn't get anything, but, you know, it is what it is. We're just mainly looking at Luffy in this use case here. We're running a Vivi as well. Vivi Rebecca is phenomenal because their abilities, like, it feels like they were like catered to beat this content. The switch effect generating that chain lock every turn is really good, and then their special ability is exceptional against the Gladius stage, which will come up right after this one. Like, looking at this, I did make a little bit of an error. I was trying to figure out how to get through this in one turn. I mean, I could have activated a Luffy special, and I probably would have been able to kill this in one turn. In hindsight, I probably could have. Also, another thing you could have done is I activated a switch ability of Zoro and Sanji on stage 2 with the Nutcracker soldiers. You could just not use the switch effect there. When you reach this stage, you'll get the super switch instead, and that probably would help you out. But either way, still got through it pretty comfortably, all things considered. And we move on to the next stage against Gladius, and this is typically a stage you take quite a long time on, but I mean, when you get a super tandem every single turn with Zoro and Sanji, it really does help out. And I mean, my one's only at level 4, by the way. My Zoro and Sanji, I still need one more dupe to get them rainbowed out. So the fact that, you know, there's even room to grow for this team, which is kind of nuts as well. Memory's Nami is basically here because she removed Special Bind and generated a full board of tandem slots. That was literally the only reason why she was here. So you could replace Nami with like any other Straw Hat that gets around Special Bind, and like she just changes the block slots on that Caesar stage. That was the only reason why I wanted to bring her. But it's just really cool that you get access to this with the Straw Hats. And the thing is even if you don't want to build for the Straw Hats, technically speaking, you don't have to. As long as you have characters that can generate super effects, like the new Sabo and the new Whitebeard and Ace, which can activate their EX supers as crewmates, that will still help you get to your Gear 5 state, because once you have 4 super effects activated, you'll be able to get the Gear 5 state, and then when he gets the Gear 5 state is when Luffy's EX super is able to be activated, granting you that weakness buff. And the fact that he has that weakness debuff is quite strong, actually. It's really cool that he has that, allowing you to just grant just a 1.69 times additional damage when you use his weakness buff, on top of his special granting 3 times increased damage taken. So Luffy's abilities are quite strong with how it is right now. So even though this piece of content doesn't have like the most gimmicks that you're going to be encountering in more modern content, it's just crazy because looking back at this stage, like this is still a pretty tricky stage, all things considered. There's like a lot of really annoying gimmicks here, but it's mainly just the fact that we don't really even have to activate that many specials, because the switch effect generating attack and all boost, a very minor attack and all boost every turn, super tandem, and then up to a 7 times captain with Luffy. I mean, all of this damage is just exceptional, just getting through this content super easy. But that's gonna wrap it up from me today. Thank you so much for watching this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Luffy train keeps on rolling. Let's keep it going. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
This is 3倍ね。